Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Flipping Ain't Easy. This is John, and I wanted to do this live stream. It's like a last minute thing. Once in a while, I'll do these live stream videos where I'll come across some articles and I'll start wondering about what you guys would do or are going to do when a certain situation comes up. And as the title of this video implies, it's about the new tax change that's coming next year in 2022, just a few weeks away. And while I'm not a CPA, I can certainly just tell you, based on my experience and what I do. But this new change totally changes the threshold from the requirement to report your income from online sales or whatever type of business you do, where you have to report $20,000 or more, or it's not or, but it's an and 200 transactions. So 200 transactions that accumulate at least $20,000 a year. Now you should be reporting everything you earn, whether you're doing cash or whether you're doing third-party apps or through eBay. But I guess the consensus is that most people or many people are not. And because of that, the requirement now is $600. So if you sell $600 or more throughout 2022 on eBay, on Mercari, on Amazon, Marketplace, they do payments on Marketplace where you can ship your items out, Facebook Marketplace, Poshmark. Technically, if you do a payment through Venmo, through Zelle, through any of those type of means, the IRS will be privy to that, and you'll need to report it. Now, that's just the topic of the day. I'm going to let some people get settled in here. We currently have 19 people that are tuning in. For those of you who are with us today, please put your questions in the chat. Jenna is joining us today, my lovely wife, Jenna. And so put your questions in the chat. And if you are watching this on a replay, please comment down below, and either myself or others will be able to reply or answer your questions. And if you are watching this live and want to support the channel, certainly you can do that with super chat or live stickers or super stickers. That certainly helps the channel. Want to say hi to Semperfi 1918. So is the tax on profit after taxes and fees and expenses? Yes, that would be the case. So what I do, and again, I'm not a CPA, but this has certainly worked for me, and it's within the tax law that let's say I have $10,000 in sales. I go in and I figure out that I have $2,000 in cost of goods. That's the cost of my goods that I'm selling on eBay, let's say. And let's say I have another $1,000 in eBay fees, maybe let's say $2,000 in eBay fees. You know how eBay wants to fee us to death. So that's $4,000 right there. Maybe another $1,000 in shipping, and maybe another $500 in like supplies and things like that. So that's $4,500. So what you would do is essentially you take the difference, that's $5,500, and that's the amount that you should be reporting when you do your taxes. Now, like for instance, eBay will send a 1099-K, and that entire amount gets reported to the IRS. So of course you're reporting that entire amount, and you're reporting your gross sales to the IRS. You're also writing off your fees and your eBay fees, your shipping, your cost of goods, and all that stuff, which will offset and give you your taxable amount, if that makes sense. The problem is there's been a lot of people, and it's not just eBay and Amazon and things like that. There's other businesses out there where maybe a contractor or a self proprietor or a sole proprietor is maybe doing this stuff on the side and they're not reporting it. Maybe they've been accepting money through Zelle or Venmo or those other third-party payment apps, PayPal, and it's not been reported. And another thing also is maybe Poshmark. I don't think that they've even reported even over the threshold. I might be wrong on that, but this is a crackdown by the government to um, tax. I think they said it's about $160 billion in unreported earnings that they want to get their hands on. And so, it's not something I necessarily support. Again, if you're making money, whether it's reported or not, you should be reporting it on your taxes. But, unfortunately, this is what it's come down to. I'm going to get back to Craigslist. Well, make sure you're accepting cash. And, if you're trying to get around it, I would never tell you to do anything you can to not report your taxes. You need to do that. But if that is your goal, you need to be accepting cash, because it's not just one transaction, from what I understand. If you accept a cumulative amount that exceeds $600 over the year, it's definitely something that will be brought to the IRS's attention. Scott Fiscus, I'm a part-time eBay, so not a big change for me. I have to report anywhere I sell anyway. And then we have number one design two. Hello, John, Flipping Ain't Easy. How are you doing? Thank you for joining us. We have 30 people right now watching, and hopefully that'll grow. Do you have to report your garage sales too? I'm in Canada. Technically, in the United States, at least, you have to report really everything. So it's just one of those things where what can the government track versus what, with cash, they can't. And I suspect that, within 10 to 20 years, we might not even be using cash, because it's more of a control, especially if this really does yield the 150 billion that they're saying, 160 billion that they're saying that has not been reported. I'm certain that with the way things are going right now in our government, that it may change. Tropical and Company, slavery should be banned. I thought it was. You are, Josh House says, you are supposed to collect and turn in taxes on a yard sale. Yes, you are. You are. So my question to you guys is, I've seen a lot of comments over the year regarding, hey, we're going to be up and leaving in 2022 because of this tax law. And what are your plans next year? Are you going to continue selling? If you haven't really been reporting, if you've been under that 200 transaction, $20,000 threshold, and you haven't really been reporting it, which you should be, but if you haven't been reporting it, let's be real, some haven't. What are your plans for 2022? Are you going to comply? Are you going to just quit altogether? Are you going to go look for what some people say would be a real job? But I got to tell you, the idea of quitting eBay, going out and let's say finding a job that pays you, let's say $20 an hour. If you work 2,000, I think it's 2,080 hours in a year. I think that's the equivalent of 40 hours per week for the entire year. That $20 an hour job, which is gross, that's before taxes or anything else is taken out of your paycheck. It's around like middle 44,000, 45,000. It's not a whole lot. And if you break that down, 45,000, and you divide that by, let's say, get my calculator out if it wants to. Sorry, guys, I should have had this number for you before we started, but let's just say you take $45,000 and let's say you work 250 days out of the year. Okay, you're making $180 a day gross. That's before taxes are taken out. And, that's, I can tell you, if you're selling on eBay, you can make $400. If you're doing a 50% margin or above, like I am, and other sellers are doing, it's not that hard to do. You can clear that easily. And so for me, the idea of going out and getting a real job just is not that appealing. And of course, I've seen a lot of jobs out there, but they're not anything special. To get $20 an hour is going to be difficult for many with the jobs that are available out there. So eBay is very feasible, but you have to do the work. Now, that amount was based on 250 days. With eBay, you can get paid every day. You get if you multiply that $180 by 365, that's a $65,000 gross that you can make on eBay in just your profits. So something to think about. I can tell you, if you are on the fence, you really need to have something lined up to really stop. I know it's a pain. You want to go to turbo. Well, what do they call it? I have GoDaddy bookkeeping, but there are other software, or you can get a CPA, but there's other software out there that can help you keep track of your expenses and what you make throughout the year. And I think GoDaddy bookkeeping is like $120 for the year. And it's worth it, really. You're thinking like $10 a month to have a software keep track of all your accounts, all your eBay fees, your shipping, and all that. And by the time the end of the year rolls around, you have an idea of what you've made. So for me, that's what I do, and it works well. We have little unique shop. There's going to be so much more garbage, and I got to tell you, it's highly likely. I've seen the writing on the wall here over the last year, and it just seems like it's just all about control. And if you like that kind of thing, then it's all about who you have in office. I'm not going to make this a political thing at all, but it's happening in front of our eyes. The changes that you're seeing, and if it's something you like, hey, great. But I think there's a lot of us out here that don't quite agree. Now, I agree with the concept. I've always agreed with the concept that you have to pay your taxes and you have to report what you make. But what I'm concerned about, what concerns me really, is if I send my kids $1,000, are they going to, or let's say, are they going to tax my kids because they received $1,000? Am I going to have to? Are they going to have to explain it, or am I going to have to explain it if I receive money? So that's just sort of, there's that line, and what are they going to do if you receive money that's not from eBay? Are they going to audit you because you received $1,000 from someone? So it just things like that cross my mind, and I guess we're never going to really know until we see it. Kent Hamilton, did the morons in Congress and Senate report everything? That's a question for them. I do know they get kickbacks. That's for sure. This is nothing new with the government and the IRS at this point. Every time something changes with tax and policies, I say, been there, done that. Yeah, but it's just no longer a trust thing. It's no longer are we trusted to report it? It's now going to be reported for us. And I just hope that they stay on the right side of that line and don't go over to the wrong side of the line and expect me to report something that may be something totally unrelated to anything I make on eBay. Josh Howe, most don't because it's cash. Some cities will require a yard sale permit and would make it hard to get around anything. I suppose you're right. I don't know of any cities that I've done a yard sale in that's required a permit. But really, cash is king, I think, right now. If you can do your transactions in cash, it gives you the control of what you're going to report and not have it reported for you, even though, again, I can't stress it enough that you should be reporting. Gail Carson, this way the states can collect the fee for the tax license. Some do. I think Nevada charges $15. I think it's worth it. You can write off, for instance, if you're buying something to resell, you don't have to pay taxes on that. That's a good thing. Mal Garazza Blanco, I heard if you sell your stuff for less than you bought it, it's not your income. Right. So that's your cost of goods. So I bought this item for $100 and I sold it for $50. well, your cost of goods exceed what you were able to get back for that. So that would be something you would have to report, your cost of goods exceeding that transaction. That's why, if you're selling stuff around your house, unless it's a collectible that's maybe increased in value, you're not going to have to deal with paying for anything you earn from selling something you own, because of course you paid more than what you sold it for. So these are all things. But if you, like, for instance, I have multiple accounts on eBay. And if I have one account, I sell my personal belongings, and another account, I sell my business items that I've bought for resale. eBay is going to think it's all the same. And so you're going to have to just put a value on that stuff that you're selling, from your home, and be able to explain that and differentiate that from your business sales. No one designed to. Oh, hell no, I'm not going back to a job ever again after doing eBay for a while, no matter what headaches it comes with. And you're right. I think back to my career in Amtrak, and I worked there 26 years, the last 11 of it being in management. And you think in management, you got it made, and that's the thought process, but you still have people above you that can really be nasty. And I had to deal with a person that was really nasty towards me and others. And this person was known for being just totally overstepping her bounds. And it was very stressful. It was very stressful. It's a stress that I don't have to live with anymore. While my current boss is a jerk sometimes, it's a lot better than dealing with expectations from someone, having to do an evaluation on yourself just so you can hopefully get a raise, different things that you're expected to do. And it's a new responsibility. I'm my own boss. I can set my hours. I'm responsible to myself, my wife, my immediate friends and family. And above and beyond that, if I fail, I don't have to worry about being, uh, punished in some way, or, maybe lose my position. I just have to do better. And that it's a different level of accountability. I can get up in the morning and say, I'm going to work 12 hours today doing eBay. And you know what? I don't look at the clock every 5 minutes like I would at work and wondering, is this day over with? My day flies. And it's because it's just a different level of work. If you haven't done it full time, I definitely think, of course, you should do it when you are financially ready to make that jump. But it's just a liberating feeling to be able to get up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to stop and make a live stream video for you guys. It's just nice to be able to do whatever I want, like I did today. And yes, I work 7 days a week for the most part because I want to. I do take some days off every once in a while, but there'll be days that I'll work an hour and just to maintain my account. But it's because I want to. It's because I know how eBay works, first of all. But I enjoy what I do. If you enjoy what you do, if you make this an enjoyable thing, you can really do well, because you're going to want to put the time and the energy that you may not want to put in on a full-time job. Simplify 1918. This is my first year. So 2022, I'm still going to still do eBay, still have a current job and get my military benefits at a real job, limited to how many hours work. Well, first of all, thank you for your service. I appreciate everything that you do for our country. Yeah, that must be pretty difficult. You work, you're in the military, and you do the eBay thing. If you have a job, it pays you well. Certainly, I'm not here to advocate you should quit your job and just do eBay 100% of the time, full time, because now everything's being reported. Well, you might as well make the jump. Really, it's not for everyone. With that said, because The last thing you want to do is to quit something you have that's a steady, reliable income, and now you're worried about sourcing. You're worried about, maybe your sales are slow now. How am I going to make these slow sales work as a full timer? And it's a lot of stress. And I can say that I made it work for me, not because I wanted to, but because I had to. They shut my office down. For many of you guys know my backstory. We had 500 plus employees that were given a 60-day notice, told that you have to go find another job or go back east and step down from management if you want to continue. And that was just the sum of everything was too much for us. And we decided to make this work. We have been making it work, but it's not easy. It's not what you'll see a lot of YouTubers on here, and it's like, wow, they have the nice cars, they have this, they have that, they're all full of smiles, but you don't see what's behind the camera, or you don't see what's happening when the camera's turned off. It is stressful at times. Just trying to figure out, just like you guys do. We have the same emotions when we get a return that maybe we think is a fraudulent return. We get the same feeling of joy when we get that $500, $1,000 day. We're just, at least for me, I could speak for myself. I'm just like you. I'm an everyday person that happens to share my life and experience with you guys on here. And that's the only real difference between you and I is that. Videos for life. You don't have to if you're personal items, but I think they are trying to catch the full-time or part-time resellers not reporting. That's correct. However, if you're selling your personal items alongside your business items, and even if you have a personal account, eBay will tie that all in together and report it just the same. And you'll need to make sure that you account for the fact that your cost of goods exceeded what you sold that item for. Josh Howe, it can't be too hard to catch some. Watch YouTube. Some even admit that they do not use a sales tax license, so they do not pay taxes at a thrift store for their buys, and then eBay collects. Yes. So if you have a reseller certificate, you can actually download a form that you present the retailer, and it basically has your and this is the state of Nevada. I also did it for California as well. But you have your tax ID exemption on there, and they collect the form and turn that in with their end of year stuff. And they basically wipe out the taxes, because the reason is you're not the end user. It's supposed to be the end user of the item that ends up with the item will be taxed. So if you're the middleman, of course, if you're buying something to resell on eBay, Amazon, Poshmark, you're the middleman, middlewoman, and you technically shouldn't be taxed, which is why you need to get a reseller's certificate if you can, so you can avoid that. Josh Howe, taxes, and unless I'm wrong, the end buyer of the item is not get double taxed. Right, exactly. No one designed to always have cash flow from multiple source coming in. It may be easy, Amazon, Posh, garage, yard sales, stocks, etc. This takes time, folks, but not too late to start. And it's not too late to start. I guess the hardest part is starting. And once you get started, it seems impossible because you're new, you're slow, you don't maybe have the experience that someone that's been doing it for years has, and you just got to get through it, find out what works versus what doesn't, stick to that. And if you have an idea what you need to make, you have your bills, I have my bills. The goal is to pay our bills and to have some money left over at the end of the day to maybe do what we want and maybe put some aside in the savings. And if you can do that, you've won. And it doesn't matter if you have a job or if you're doing this as a sole proprietor, you're making it work. Second wind resell. I just went full-time resell due to heart issues, and I love it. Almost stress-free, almost. And the only part that's really stressful is the times where you just maybe you're having a bad month. Maybe you're dealing with that rough customer who just wants to be difficult. My whole thing is with eBay, if everyone was just cordial, if I was working with you face to face, then through a messaging system through eBay, I'm willing to bet most of these people wouldn't be as rude as they are when they contact you. My lovely wife, Jenna. Hello, flippin' friends. I hope you all are having a fantastic weekend. Good vibes. And yeah, we had a little late start today. We had to get some errands run, and I went outside and the garage and was starting to work. And I said, you know what? I think I want to do a video today. So that's kind of what happened here. Carolyn AA. Hi there. I hope you're all doing well. So far, we're doing fine. Got most of our Christmas shopping done, I think. A couple of people we have to take care of. Otherwise, we are done. And just, if I'm being honest with you, looking forward to getting past the holidays. It used to be, I don't know about you guys, but it used to be my favorite time of year, Christmas, the holiday season. And the last couple of years since this whole pandemic thing, it's just not the same for me. I don't know about you guys. That's just how I feel. I'm not trying to be a Grinch or anything, but just for me, I can't wait till we get past this whole thing where, we have to 365 days out of the year, we have to dress up for Halloween. I don't like doing that. We have Kurt, how you doing? What ever happened to your coffee maker video with the scammer? Well, I actually included it in my last video, but I got so long-winded, as I tend to, I cut it out of the video. And what happened with that is, and it's a lesson that I learned, and I'm glad you asked the question, because I was thinking of a way I could make a video about it without making a video about it. And the fact that you asked, I'll go ahead and answer it. My suspicion was, and I still don't know, the person in question bought a Nespresso coffee maker from me. And the way I do my listing is I'll grab a coffee maker out of the pile of the ones that I have. I may have about 5 or 6 of them I haven't messed with yet. And I'll take it out of the box. I'll make sure the thing powers on. That's the number one thing. And then I'll try to run at least 2 or 3 cycles and a descaling cycle through the machine. I will then clean it up. Of course, you don't want to take pictures of a dirty item. So you clean it up, make sure everything's intact, and you take photos of that item and you list it. When it sells, again, I'll take it out, make sure it looks clean, make sure I didn't miss something, and package it up as good as I can and ship it out. Well, this person claimed that I sold them a coffee maker that had coffee grounds all over it, just brown spots of whatever coffee. And also the Nespresso makers, they kick out the little pods, you like the K cups or whatever, the Nespresso cups that kick into the machine when it's done. And she's claiming that I left that in there. And I'm like, there's no way. I have two different times that I inspect this item before I ship it out. And she's claiming it was broken. Now, of course that could have happened in shipping, but I haven't had one person complain about that. So it immediately made me feel like this was a swap out situation. I still don't know. So I made the video warning you about this. And the thing that made me make the video, I made a video that some of you guys got to watch. It's no longer up. I made a video that said, hey, watch out for this buyer, because this buyer didn't send me a message saying, hey, I got this item, man. Hey, it's just, not what I thought it was. Can we do something? This was like totally attacking me from the get-go. And it just like, wow, you wouldn't treat anyone like this. And went and checked. She had immediately left me a negative feedback. She gave me zero opportunity to resolve anything. And of course, if someone's going to leave you a negative feedback and treat you like a dog, you're going to be less inclined to try to do anything for them to resolve it. And I was ticked, to be honest with you. And honestly, whenever I come across buyers like that don't give you a chance as a seller to do the right thing or to do anything, you know what? I want you guys to know about that kind of a person, because if it happens to me with that buyer, they buy your item next, and maybe it's not 100% up to their expectations, it's going to happen to you. So, of course, we have some viewers that decided it was worth their time to send her a message through eBay to let her know that she was brought up on YouTube. Now, I don't give out anyone's private information at all. You know, I have her address. I don't think eBay gives a phone number, maybe, but I don't give out that information. I don't. Um, the only thing that you're given is public information when I make these videos, and that is your eBay user ID. Now, in her case, she happened to use her name and a year. That's not my problem. That is a public username. It is not private information. If you are out in public and someone takes a video of you, you may not like it, but that is a public thing. It's not a private. You have no privacy when you're out in public, and your eBay user ID is no different. And all I did was let others know that this person is, you know, something's not right here with my transaction, but look how they treated me. And she was all up in arms, sent me all kinds of messages through eBay. We had a banter back and forth. I think it started off kind of rough, but it went well. And I said, you know what? I thought, you know, I do make videos for you guys, and I want to share with you, but I'm also running a business here. And sometimes you have to give someone the benefit of the doubt, even though you know, like 99.99% that, you know, in this particular situation, I didn't do anything wrong. And so I said, look, you work with me, and in the end, you remove the negative feedback if if I do this for you to make this right. Also, you, of course, close the return, because we don't want to return if I'm going to do this, but I will send you another unit. I will make sure the unit is in tip-top shape as the other one. You know, I'm pretty certain it was, but okay. I'll send this to you. And I did that, and she agreed, and I did that, and I sent the coffee maker to her, and because I felt like I was being nice, I had some extra pods. You get a lot of these Nespresso coffee makers, and these are return items, and they're in the sealed pack and stuff. And I'll get some of those, and I sent her. I filled the little pod holder with a bunch of new pods. She claimed that when I sent it originally had spent pods in them, and I'm sure that it was just a kind gesture that I did. And she removed the negative feedback as soon as she got it. Of course, closed the return. So she lived up to her word. But honestly, I don't know. I don't know what happened with that transaction, other than what I told you. I don't know. Maybe the fact that I was willing to call her bluff. I don't know. And I do know this. I check every item I sell, and it just does not make sense for her to have received an item in that condition. That's all I can say. So thank you for asking that long-winded answer to a very simple question, but I thought I'd owe you guys at least that much. Yes, exactly. eBay is up and down. It's a great fill-in for me, as I tried full-time, and it died after a year, so I know what I'm capable of. And you're not always going to succeed when you first start. You know, I've sold for many years on this platform, and as part-time to supplement my work income, and I fell flat on my face at times. Sometimes it could be very frustrating, and don't let that stop you from continuing, because you know the mistakes you make now are things you're going to avoid and learn from when you start over again. And my lovely wife, Jenna, it's never too late to start. The hardest part is taking the first step. We've all been there, and we're willing to and able to help you along the way. And that's why we made this channel. For those of you who know, I think I've told you this before, in my 26-year career, I was involved in training. I was involved in coaching my employees. And when I left that, you know, the first year after leaving it, I sort of missed that. I was like, you know, I know a lot about eBay, like to be able to help people. And that's kind of why we made this channel. No one designed to. I've come to realization on returns, anything under $20 net profit, I do not question the return and move on, but anything 25 net profit and over, I review it. And this one it was a 40 some odd dollar machine plus the cost of shipping. And I've been scammed a lot. and I know what those emails look like when they first try to contact you. And if they even do, sometimes they don't even say anything to you. They just go through eBay and just go that route. Not getting a chance to fix the problem to me is a red flag. And um, I don't know what happened here. Honestly, I can't say, what happened in her situation. I know what I sent her, but thankfully it was resolved. Uh, I won't show that one. Do you guys, Natalie Hidalgo, do you know if the 1099K includes the sales tax for the buyer's state? eBay adds the sales tax from the buyer to charge me final value fee for the whole transaction, which is so wrong. Okay, so that does not include the sales tax that's removed from the buyer's state. That's sort of what they collect on your behalf. Now, as a seller on eBay, it was first before eBay stepped in and said, we'll take care of it for you under the condition of that you're going to be charged final value fees on the entire thing, including the sales tax. The other option would have been that you, as a seller on eBay, would have had to open an account of some sort through the state for every state that collects sales tax. And every quarter, you would have been required to figure out how much sales tax that you collected from that buyer, and would have had to send that money on a quarterly basis to every state. I think there's like 40 states. And you would have had to do that 4 times a year and keep track of that throughout the year. And eBay, of course, they have decided they're going to charge a final value fee off of the tax that they've collected. For me, that's a win. And it seems like, I know eBay, they are looking for ways to fee us to death. This is one way that they're feeing us to death, but it's one hassle that I don't want to deal with. Now, if you sell a couple items here, a couple items there, the idea of being able to keep track of that, it's feasible. But if you are selling, I think I sell on average about 225 to 250 items in a month. To have to do that over a year, or 4 times a year, that's time I don't have to spend listing. It's time I don't have to make videos for you guys. And I think it's one money grab that I'm okay with. And Josh Howe, if you enjoy what you do for a job, you will never work another day in your life. I'd rather work at home than ever go back to 8 to 5. And you know what? Forget about the job that you're dealing with. What about the commute? To drive 30, 45 minutes, an hour, dealing with that, paying for all the gas that you're paying for, it's just, you're really working, if it's an 8.5 hour shift because they're your lunch break. Some of us are working 10 plus hours if you figure in the commute. Is it worth it? And, again, if you're only making $45,000 a year on that $20 an hour job, just struggling to make ends meet, you're capped. Unless they're offering you overtime on that, you're capped on what you can make. eBay, they don't cap you. They're not saying, look, you're only able to make $40,000 this year. There's nothing like that. If you keep eBay happy, you follow their expected process and deal with eBay, try to deal with them every day with your account, and you continually list, it's really up to you on how much that you can get listed on eBay and how much you want to make. That's up to you. I can do better. I think I can do better that I have. And I plan on doing better. I'm a human like you guys. I have things that come up in life. I have the way I feel when I wake up in the morning, just like you guys do. And sometimes it's motivation for me is kind of hard. But I know one thing, that I want to do better. I plan on doing better. And it's a New Year's resolution that's going to start today, to tell you the truth, because there's just so much money to be made on this platform. I found out in Q4 how much better it was than over the summer. And of course, it has a lot to do with volume, but it has a lot to do with your volume as well. How many items you get up on that site. Malgorazza Blanco, I think the tax part will motivate people to do it more serious and sell more. I think you're going to get that group. You're also going to get the group that says it's not worth it, and they're just going to stop. They're not going to. They are going to think that it's going to be something that's going to keep them from wanting to sell. Maybe they're not motivated really in the first place, and to have to deal with that in their mind, it's going to cause people to leave the platform. And as I hate for that to happen, but their buyer is going to have to look somewhere else for that product, and I'm happy to sell it to them. How do you see the future of eBay? Do they keep up with all the selling platforms? I think that they will. I think that they will. I think eBay will be here for a while until something replaces it. You had Facebook Marketplace was making a run, but again, they don't have the setup that eBay does. They were trying to get the traffic, and they have the ability to generate the traffic that eBay has. It's just the setup. I think lately, the last year, Marketplace has really kind of been run down with the number of listings that are just spam listings. To me, there's no regulation, and I think sometimes you need some regulation on these platforms until a site pops up that's able to generate the kind of traffic that eBay does. eBay will be around unless they continue to make big mistakes when they roll out these seller updates, and that in itself, every 6 months, making sellers do things to their listings when they shouldn't have to, dealing with no sales at all until they sell similar and that type of thing, that would drive someone to just say, forget it, it's not worth it. And you do that to enough sellers, then you don't have any product for these buyers to buy. Simplify. I've been making my goal to list at least 5, but go for 10 listings a day while it's growing, do markdowns, and now getting about 1 sale a day. Slow and steady wins the race. And you're right. You're right. That's a good strategy. And you want to at least have 5 drafts created for the day you plan on taking off, so that when you wake up in the morning on that off day, get up there, launch those drafts, and then you've at least satisfied a little bit of what eBay wants. LSGS Rob, nobody can ever pay me any amount of money for the freedom of time. One of the main reasons, if not the main reason I get to reselling, was for the freedom of time. I would have quit if it was for money. And you hit it right on the head. They can. I've kind of in my mind wondered what I would do if the company I work for called me back and said, hey, we're reopening that call center again, and we want to hire you back, let you have your department back that you ran, and all is good. I don't know what I'd say, because I think I would do it only for this, because I didn't hit 30 years. Once I hit 30 years with a railroad, which is through Amtrak, the railroad I worked for, you get to retire at 60. And because I didn't hit that threshold, I have to wait till 67 to get, I'm fully vested. I have a retirement waiting for me, but it'd be nice to be able to get it when I'm 60. Other than that, I would probably say, no, I'm good. I'm good. Okay, so we have Finn's fan. Do you do free returns? How do you handle returns for I didn't like it and they used your item and want their money back, including initial shipping charges? Well, first of all, most of the returns that I get, they're not getting their outbound shipping back. Even if they do an INAD, item not as described, I get it back and it's like, no, this is fine. These buyers, they want to get free return shipping. They want free everything, but they don't want to pay for the cost of a return label. So a lot of them will say something about the item that's not true so they can avoid that. But the fact is they didn't like it. They have to pay for that return label through eBay, and the initial shipping charges is not coming back to them. That I explained to them if they ask, because I'll just do the refund when I get it. Without that, you click the tab to enable the shipping, and that shipping charge, I explained to them if they ask that it was already spent on shipping you the item. I'm sorry you didn't like it. However, I don't have that money anymore to send to you. We do not refund original shipping charges, and 9 times out of 10, it's no problem. We have G Gazara. How you doing? Thank you for joining us today. And I don't know what that's about. And sometimes, guys, I'm looking at these comments on the fly. I read them as I'm reading them to you, so I have no idea what some of these things say. No one designed to. Here is a question for anyone doing eBay GSP on the exclusion checklist. Has anyone noticed that Russian Federation checkbox always revert back to unchecked no matter how many times you check and save it? And so now I know who you are. I spoke to you via email. And I tried to check that, and I didn't have that problem when I did a sell similar. So definitely reach out to eBay for Business on Facebook and see if they can replicate that for you. I find that they are a little easier to deal with than if you call in. That's the best way. And we have LSGS Rob. This is why I don't mainly sell electronics anymore. The amount of fraudulent activity and don't work defective fraudulent returns is asinine. And it's higher than you would suspect in other categories. It got to the point in 2019, I started selling stuff just to offset the number of returns. I started selling what I called safe products, products that would help regulate my return ratio. We're talking $5, $10, $15, $20 items that I knew were very safe items that weren't going to be coming back. And that seemed to help. But you know what? I'm just not going to play that game. I sell in so many different categories that even with a 5% return ratio, that eBay hasn't called me on it yet, even though that's kind of on the high side. I don't get as focused on that as I used to. And, if it is a fraudulent return, I report the buyer. And I do that quite often, throw them on my block list. And sometimes I go in and I simply report to you guys and get them on your block list too. So, do you got any eBay resolution for the new year? This is from Christopher Nutter. Well, Christopher, simply to be more consistent, I'd say. There's times that I'll get up not feeling it, and I will just do the bare minimum. There's other days I'll do 12 hours of just nonstop. I need to be more consistent. And again, LSGS Rob, beginning of this year, I had over 60 returns and 56 of them were fraudulent. Wow. I lost so much money because of that. And because of that, I mainly sell clothing now. And a lot of people gravitate towards clothing, but the problem with clothing that I've always noticed, we have some clothing on our store. It just doesn't sell fast enough. The sell-through rate isn't high enough. You have to really have a lot of items in your store to really get that going. Unless you have items that are really sought after and you can maintain that sourcing, then you're going to have a hard time. Let's see. I don't mind eBay taking final value fees on tax because they remit it for you, which is a huge pain in the butt, really. And it is because could you just imagine that? Imagine for every item you sell, you have to account for the taxes and then go in and pay taxes. I have my reseller certificate for Nevada, and I don't do any transactions in person, so I have zero to report for taxes, and I go in and they make you report that. So can you imagine doing that for every state? That's not something that I want to do. We have David Norman. Does the 1099 from eBay back out the tax collected? From my experience, it does. The last 2 years now of this, it has not been part of what you are paying your taxes on. You don't have to worry about the state taxes are not going to be included in the money that you have to report. Ed, the reselling show, the reselling writer. I need to check out your channel, Ed. Been meaning to do that, and I will do so after this video. He just finished his live. How's everything? Long time no see. Just, you know what? I'm noticing a slowdown in my sales. I don't know about you guys. The last week, I can tell you my sales are probably cut in half. And I only anticipate as we get closer to Christmas, it's going to get slower for me because people realize they're not going to get their items in time. They're more focused on spending their money on gifts. Maybe they have to go in person to buy because it's not enough time to get it in the mail. But rest assured, first week of January, things will pick up. So hopefully things are going well for you. And definitely I will check out your channel. Something I planned on doing. I just forgot about it last time I saw you. I'm finally here to make a live stream. Cheers. How are you doing, Thrift Gorilla? Nice to see you again. You're always commenting on my videos, and I certainly appreciate you. Kent Daigle, eBay has no competition. First to market always leads. You're right. And they have that big lead out, that market share, and it's their market to keep, provided that they don't keep tripping on their own feet and someone doesn't come in from behind and take it from them. You can't, what's eBay going to look like in 10 years? It all depends on what eBay does, and it all depends on what their competition and competition that hasn't even popped up yet are end up doing. It's everyone thought back in 2000, what was it, 2005, that MySpace was the thing. You guys remember that? Well, where's it at now? Yeah, there's different platforms that have popped up that totally made that obsolete. And Facebook has no support. It's a fail, and that's what turns a lot of people off. And if you go and search for something right now on Facebook Marketplace, you're going to find a lot of stuff that you're looking for and a lot of stuff you're not. And you'll be like, wow, how did this stuff get on here? So it's a hot mess on Facebook Marketplace. It had a lot of potential, but unless someone steps in and rights that ship, I'm probably not going to be listing unless I'm listing local stuff that is just too heavy to list on eBay. So far, how are your Q4 sales coming along? Below expectations, on par, above expectations? I would say it's a little bit above expectation. I was killing it in October, November, first part of February. I'm sorry, December, and then just fell off. And I think for me, it had a little bit to do with having company over that Thanksgiving week. I didn't spend the kind of time that I was spending before. I had momentum that I was actually, getting a lot of stuff listed, getting a lot of stuff sold. I had at one point over 700 items sold in a 90-day period, like $35,000 in a 90-day period in sales. And your momentum, what you do every day on this platform, it does make a difference. Even if you have a bad day, continue doing what you're doing because you're going to have some good days. If you're consistent with eBay, you're going to have some good days. So for me, a little bit above average, above what I was thinking. But I think a lot of it, if we're talking about Q4 as a whole, a lot of it for me depends on how the rest of this month ends up. If I'm no longer doing an average of $500 in sales in a day and I'm down to about 200, then it's probably back to average for me. Let's see. We have Show Me Pickers. If you have high-end electronics, you can probably find a Facebook group for these items. I know a guy who sold $4,000 worth of high-end electronics on a similar group. And for me, the high-end electronics sell fast on eBay. For me, it's about the lesser known brands that are a little harder to move no matter who you're trying to sell them to. And sometimes you just got to keep lowering that price until you find that buyer who's willing to go with a third-party brand to meet their need versus a top brand. I've asked eBay Business, and this is about the whole issue with the Republican or the Russian Federation popping up on his exclusion list on his shipping. And I've asked eBay Business, and one rep told me no glitch. Other one said they are aware of it. Another one told me that it's odd when she tried to do it on her side. You know, I don't know. Okay, chances are you're not going to get too many buyers from there as it is. Um, you know, I haven't had too many, even through global shipping program, that were going to that part of the world. So um, contact eBay for Business, because I think they'll give you a little bit more in-depth answer. Maybe include some screenshots along with that request, so they can see what you're seeing and see what they can do. But above and beyond that, just move on. If you get that Russian Federation address, go in and cancel the sale per problem with address. That's kind of what I would say. And then Kent says, no money in clothing, none. And I have about 40, 50 items, and these are brand new clothing items. And aside from giving them away, um, I'm not moving them. And if I was to put them for, yard sale prices, sure, I'd move them, but that's not how you make money in this game. So I'm not buying clothing anytime soon. But now PY23 says, selling clothes is great. I'm a solo seller and have sold $81,000 in eBay in the last 90 days. I'm very curious though, how many items do you have in your store? I think the ratio that I've come up with just looking at different clothing stores, it's like one for every 250 items you'll sell per day. So if you have 2,500, you'll sell about 10 a day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of it has to do with what you're selling too. Your price points are obviously a big part of it. If you're selling it for much less than your competition, you're going to sell more than that ratio that I've figured out. I'm more interested in keeping a lower count of items in my store and having a higher sell-through rate. Well, my store is Value Trends is the name of my store. I generally in the past haven't given that out. I didn't want to mess up my traffic numbers by having a lot of people go in and check it out, but it is what it is. I've showed you guys that in some of my videos. I think I carry between 400 and 500 items in my store, and to be honest with you, my store is nothing special. It's not anything special. I follow the things that I tell you guys that I do. But it's really just I buy pallets of customer return items, mostly electronics and appliances. And, that works for me, but you're not going to be overwhelmed when you see, you're going to be underwhelmed when you see my store as far as what I'm selling. And then Ed says, thanks, John. Really appreciate that. Sales have been somewhat consistent for me. I recently been having more sales on Poshmark and Mercari than eBay, which I find strange. And I need to get more of my lower end listings onto Mercari. If you watch my last video, it's about this model that I came across. I try to share with you guys, where this seller was selling items at look like cost, maybe in like $4 or $5 to start, with a $4 flat shipping rate. And that's pretty much for all the items that they had. And this person was getting a lot of bids almost on every item that they were selling. And it looked very interesting to me. They had, what do they have? Was it like 4,000, 5,000 items up for sale? I think it was more than that, 7,000, I think. And they were at 11,000 sales in the last 90 days. But the only question that I have is, how many of those are deadbeat buyers or deadbeat bidders? But certainly there's ways of doing it, and I plan on making some changes at the beginning of the year. And then Ed, the reselling writer, did you see the Joe's recent video about the seller check-in? If you have, what do you think the gift will be? For those of you who don't know who Joe is the YouTuber that really helped my channel out. That's a Crazy New York Driver show. And he has been selected to host the eBay Motors part of the eBay seller check-in. They have like a little I guess a mashup at the end of their presentation where you can go in and talk to other sellers in your category, and he's going to be hosting that. And he announced that there's going to be a gift if you sign up for and attend the eBay Open on Thursday, this coming Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So check your eBay messages for that. As far as what I think it'll be, well, I know they sent me a couple gifts last time. Um, it was like, and it's gifts I plan on giving to you guys at some point. I want to get closer to the 10,000 threshold, but this was a beach blanket, and some other goodies. I think it may be, I'm hoping for concierge is what I'm hoping for, but I doubt that seriously. It's probably going to be some trinkets, honestly, but we'll see. He seemed to be excited. So, comment down below. Let me know what you think we're going to get. But definitely be there. I see a lot of people complain about stuff on eBay and, what they'd like to see better. But I wonder how many of them actually show up for events like this and voice their concern. You will see me voice my concern about some things. I know they can't stand me. I'm sure eBay, this is one channel that eBay wish that wasn't around, but because I do give an honest assessment of eBay. I am thankful for eBay, but at the same time, they can do so much better. We have Thrift Grill. I've only ever sold 2 pairs of pants as clothing. They were listed for good 3 to 4 months, brand new with tags. Eventually, they sold. It just to like all the measuring. There's a lot of measuring. There's a lot of, can you check this and check that, and then you give them all the information, and they don't buy it from you anyway. Maybe they think that you'll be willing to give them that information and then just go buy it from your competitor for a little bit less. I just read your description too. I won't be leaving for that new requirement because I've been reporting since I started reselling. Anyways, so it's changing for me. And for most sellers, it shouldn't change. You should be reporting what you're earning on eBay, and the government will get their money. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. The freedoms we had 10 years ago is just not the same anymore. Or the level of trust, and I guess they figure the 160 billion that they're going to send off to another country anyway is worth making us go through that. So that's kind of how I feel about that without getting too political. Christopher says, I notice if stuff selling makes people more motivated to list. And I think sometimes all you have to do is go in and look for similar items that you're selling and check out the solds and just look at other accounts and see what they're doing. Compare it to what you're doing. See what they're doing differently. That motivates me to get out there and, it's like, wow, this guy's selling a bunch of the same stuff that I have. This person's killing it. There's no reason why I can't. Now, I know a lot of these bigger stores, they have help. If you're a one man woman operation, my wife and I, she has her store, I have mine. It does get a little overwhelming when you see all these sales from the same items you're selling. And maybe one day I'll get some help, but I know that it's one way to get myself motivated is just start looking at some of the other sellers who are selling the same items I am, and it usually gets me out there. But now Leif Bowden sold 3 items to Russia in the past 2 months. So that's interesting. It also makes me wonder with possible military issues going on. I know the Russians are amassing troops at the border and all that stuff lately for Ukraine. I wonder how that would affect things too. I wouldn't want to send anything to that part of the world right now. Do you think, this is Thrifting Debt, do you think they have made it harder to contact eBay? Seems they want you to do automated chat. I agree that they have made it harder. The entire, coming from the call center industry, I can tell you that over the last 5 years, at least the company I was working for had a vision of trying to make things more self-automated for the customer, which of course brings down payroll. You had people that were and still are making $50,000-$60,000 a year just answering telephones. Compare that to the overseas reps who are making $2, $3, $4 an hour. It's a no-brainer, and that's not even counting the benefits that employees in the United States get. And I'm not saying that we don't deserve that, because we certainly work. People I work with work their tail off. and deserved it, in my opinion. But from a company standpoint, they're looking at ways to save money, and they're looking at ways like eBay does to not only save money, but to get more money from their sellers. PY23 has been shipping to Russia on eBay, has been going through a freight forwarder in Delaware. A tricky thing is when the offer comes through, it shows shipping to RIJ once it is. So once it is paid for, the address changes to domestic. Okay. Yeah, and I don't mind freight forwarders because it's no longer my problem. Once I get it to that freight forwarder, it shows delivered. I'm happy that it is going to a freight forwarder, because if they try to claim there's a problem with the item, I can say, well, this is a freight forwarder, so this person's having a problem with the item is in a different country, and really it's against eBay's terms for them. Well, not terms, but the buyer protection sort of gets canceled out when you're dealing with a freight forwarder. I had a problem with a scam return concerning an address, and he had to cancel any orders for FFS to Delaware. So, if you have, you can always go in and see that it's a freight forwarder. Usually they have like a code for the buyer. So underneath the buyer's name, there'll be some kind of a strange code. A lot of the freight forwarders either are in like Oregon or Doral, Florida, is what I come across. I don't really come across many that are in Delaware. So I'll kind of keep an eye out for that. So let's see. We're gonna wrap this up. I wanted to do an hour. I've got stuff out in the garage that I want to get dealt with here. But we have Ed. It says that he was thinking that what we're going to be getting on Thursday for attending the eBay little eBay show of and this is what I get from eBay when they have these seller meetups here. It's usually, let us show you these great sellers who sell watches, sneakers, baseball cards, and there's hardly any mention to the other 90% of you guys that sell other things. And I just don't know if I can stomach watching another hour or wasting an hour of my day watching them put on these little hoorahs for these people and hardly any mention for the rest of you guys. But I think I'll do it this time again, and we'll see. I think I missed last month's because I just didn't want to be bothered with it. But what I think I might do, I was thinking, you guys think would be worth the time, I will do a live stream maybe after we're done with that to report what I've found. I think I might do that. Let's see. I'm limited to my sourcing. If I had better sources, I know that 30K a month is very doable. 30K a month is doable if you have the right sourcing. And I think you're probably going to need some help, because that's just a lot of stuff to ship. It's one thing to sell 30,000 in a month. It's another thing to get it shipped out. But I think it is doable. You just got to have a streamlined process in place. And that's another thing I want to do. I want to streamline my process. You guys see behind me, I got my little shipping area there. That's saving me some time already, I can tell you that. So with that said, I want to sort of wrap it up here. Real quick, no one designed to. Hey, John and the missus, have a good night. Going back to listing, just wanted to stop by and hang out. And, thank you guys. Enjoy your dinners out there. It's about dinner time for a lot of you on the Midwest and East Coast. For me, it's a little over 3 p.m. and I want to get some items done. This is an off day for me. But it's one of those things where I want to get at least 5 items listed for today and another 5 tomorrow so I can watch my NFL. You guys know I like my football, so we'll be doing that. Guys, just want to thank you for tuning in. We had over 75 people watching the show, and for not having any notice at all to you guys, but like 30 minutes. I'm thankful that you guys decided to drop whatever you were doing to hang out with me today. And, this whole issue of, how much the government wants to tax us and keep track of, well, it's just another instance of where flipping ain't easy. And again, if you're watching this show, if you come up with maybe a question that you haven't asked during the live, please leave your comments down below. Like, Subscribe to the channel, guys. I need your help to get to 10K, trying to get to that point here. And of course, hit that notification so when I do this again, you can be notified. I want you guys to have a great rest of your weekend, and you guys take care. We'll talk to you next time.